Well, alright everyone, we are here live at the Nintendo Switch 2 event where everybody's going to be picking up the Nintendo Switches, which I see right behind us. I, for one, am picking up the Mario Kart Bundle Switch as well as the Pro Controller. We're getting some hands-on experience during a VIP 1-hour section from 11 to midnight tonight. And while there is a huge line outside and I feel bad for the people that have to wait, I, for one, am ecstatic that we do get our first-hand look at the Switch 2, the consoles, the games that are available at launch, and of course, the big star-studded Mario Kart World, which is probably the most anticipated game of this entire launch. So let's go see what else we have, and then we'll go back to the studio and unbox this thing. Let's get into it. Well, alright everyone, we are back, and we did pick up a Switch 2 as well as a Pro Controller. This is just a Switch OLED, to give you guys reference sake, so we're going to be using this to compare at least the sizes from a hardware perspective. Maybe check out the screen resolution and the screen differences as well, because they're different sizes, as well as different screen text completely. But let's get the Switch 2 and open it up. So here we have them in all their glory. Like I said, I picked up a Switch 2 console, the Mario Kart edition, as you can see right there. Just for reference sake, and we'll figure that out once we unbox it. This isn't going to give you the physical copy, this is going to give you a digital copy. And then I want to pick up the Pro Controller as well to see what this was like and compare it to other consoles that are out there like the Xbox and the PlayStations of the world. So first up, let's open this guy up. So here's a Switch 2 in all of its glory, everybody, and just for transparency's sake, I paid full price for this thing. In the US, it was $636 for the Mario Kart World Bundle Switch 2 as well as the Pro Controller combined. And again, that includes all taxes and fees. Retail, it's $499 for the Mario Kit Bundle, and then I believe it's $84.99 for the Pro Controller as well. But let's see exactly what we got going on here. Whew. I haven't been this excited about a console in a very long time. So you do have the setup guide right here, but let's crack this open and see what we got going on here. There it is. Nicely laid out, and you can tell immediately how much bigger this is compared to the last one. Let's put this off to the side. You have the Joy-Con controllers, which are right here, separated for you. You have that kind of rosy red color and then that light blue color as well. Put it off to the side. So behind here, you do have all the documentation as well as an HDMI cable, which we'll pull out. We have both of the Joy-Con like mouse grips as well as just the little grips to kind of lock it in place, which is good to see. Alright, then here we have the little Switch 2 controller, which does have the magnetic clasps on here, which we'll toy around with a little bit. Let's see what else we have in this beautiful packaging. We have a USB-C to C cable. We do have our charging brick as well, which does push out up to 60 watts of power, and it's one single USB-C port, which they could have added two, but I guess why would they do that? And then of course, we have the dock itself, which we'll pull out of here. And this thing is definitely a little bit more hefty than what we're used to, right? Because of course, you do have the built-in fan in here, which is nice to see because it's going to be outscaling or upscaling 4K footage at 120 Hertz. And in terms of actually opening this up, we're going to do that in a second, see what kind of ports we get. But let's close up this box, put away this stuff, and actually open up the Switch. So first things first, let's open this thing up. And this is going to be the Switch display. Nice and tight in there. We're going to grab the Joy-Cons, because the first thing I want to do is, of course, slap these on and see what that sensation is like. Because, again, we haven't been able to really do that aside from the demo units, so if we put this on, ooh, very satisfying. And that is the Switch. And then you do have that mechanism on the back to kind of open it up right here, which all it really does is actually just push it away. There's no real anchor or any hook in there. If you pull hard enough, it will actually come off. But it's good to know that it is very hard to remove and take off. If you really pull it apart, like there is no little child that will be able to take this off. You know, you probably have to be like 8, 9 years old to really pull on this to take it off. And it doesn't really mess up with anything because you're purely using magnets, and they did assure me of that. So we're gonna put that down. We're actually gonna turn this on while we play with the other accessories. So there it is. And then of course, for reference sake, I did want to bring up the Switch OLED, which is the one that I have right here. And this is what the displays look like, the size difference. You can see that you're gaining a substantial amount of size here. But what's crazy is that they kept it relatively the same in terms of heft. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit heavier, it's going to be a little bit bigger, it's a bigger footprint overall. But Nintendo did say that they kept the thinness the same, or the thickness the same. So that makes it feel a lot more, I guess, familiar, and it doesn't feel like it's that much of an upgrade or that much of a size difference overall. And again, you have the 7.9-inch display here, 1080p LCD display at 120 Hz. This is going to be your OLED panel at 60 Hz, and it's going to be 720p, but again, it is OLED to keep in to take that into consideration. And I do plan on making a whole video on how to transfer everything from here over to here, because of course I want to be able to transfer all my digital games, all my save game data. Also I have SD cards in here. This one has 256 gigs of built-in storage. The SD card that goes on here will not fit and work on here because Nintendo's gonna Nintendo, and that's something to take into consideration. But let's get through the setup process here very quickly and see what we can get ourselves into. And some of the key differences you see right away from the hardware especially is that you do have an additional USB-C port on the device itself. You do have a bigger fan opening right here. You still have the place for your Switch cartridges, you have your headphone jack up here, and then the kickstand is almost infinite and there isn't kind of any notches or anything, and this thing goes all the way far back, which is awesome to see. So using stand, you can click on that. You can hold and release a button, so you're going through a complete little walkthrough here on teaching you how to use this thing, how to deal with the hardware, and it actually wants you to release it so you know how to do it. So you remove this one, remove the other one, and now you have the controllers let go. We press A. I'm going to connect to the TV later. That's going to be from a whole different game. So then if you do want to attach these little Joy-Con wrist straps, which again is also going to help with that mouse functionality, pull this out. And again, this does have a little bit of give, which again isn't crazy, but you can see that it is orientating at the plus sign here, the plus sign up here. Snaps into place very easily. Let's grab the blue one. And again, this does have two functionalities. Of course, it's your wrist strap first because, you know, Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons need that wrist strap, but then also is to help with the mouse functionality because, again, that is now going to be a new input method with the Joy-Con controllers. So now while we let the system update, which it looks like it's actually done, let's quickly unbox the Pro controller just to see what it's like overall. Now this one does have tape. The last piece of product, or the last box, didn't have any tape because, again, it was directly from the store itself. And let's see if we can open this side up. And you can see that we do get a USB-C to USB-A controller. We'll see exactly what that's for. It's probably to actually charge it or wire it in or maybe connect it. And then you just have the Pro controller right in here, which does feel fantastic. It feels like an actual Pro controller. It's hefty. Has a decent matte finish here, which hopefully doesn't attract too many fingerprints, especially they probably will if you do get a little greasy, but everything just feels very, very tight on this thing. Everything feels soft to press. Again, for $85, you better get a good product, but it definitely delivers. You have that new chat room controller button that's on there, your home button, your select button, your plus minus, nice big round buttons. The triggers are so satisfying to click on. And we did test out the Rumble Pack live at the actual event, and it is amazing. And then you also have some additional buttons back here, which they're categorizing as GR and GL, which again, grip left, grip right maybe, and then you still have your ZR and your R and ZL and your L as well, and all the buttons that you would need. You can click down on the actual joysticks themselves. So a beautiful little piece of kit right here for the actual controller. Let's put that to the side. And then now we gotta decide if you want to do a system transfer or don't transfer. It says select this option if you don't have a Switch, which we do over here, and I definitely want to do that, but we're gonna cut there and actually do that for a separate video. But I do want to explain a little bit more of the hardware and compare it to the Switch 1 or the Switch OLED just to see if it is worth it or not, purely from a hardware standpoint. So to remove these, you just press this little button up here, and you have to come from the top to make it easy to remove, and it does remove very easily. You kind of tuck these away to the side, and then we can actually put this back on. And again, you saw that I tried to actually swipe them back in, but obviously that's not how you do that. And you can see that you do get the reaction there, and then you have the ability to transfer and not to transfer. But just to give you an idea of what they look like side by side, of course here you have the rails, which have been, you know, we've grown to either love or hate. You do have the same kind of layout. You still have your headphone jack up here, the fan grills, the plus minus on the actual volume, the power button, game card goes there, USB-C on the bottom, and then you do have the kickstand, which still is pretty flexible, but just a little bit more flimsy than the actual Switch 2. And then on top here, you do have the secondary USB-C port up here, larger fan holes, same volume and power buttons, same game cartridge section or area where you put it, headphone jack, you have your buttons over here, and then on the bottom, another fan outlet as well as another USB-C port. And then of course, down here is where you actually put the SD card as well. So that goes right there, right underneath the Switch 2 itself. Now I don't have any physical games, so I can't show you guys what those look like, but they do look relatively the same, and we've learned that they do fit in the Switch 1. Just know that the Switch 1 will not be able to actually run that whatsoever. So that is going to be the Switch 1 versus Switch 2 from a hardware perspective. As you can see, it does look much smaller now that I have them side by side in person, but in reality, it really doesn't feel that much bigger than the Switch 1. It does make the Switch 1 feel kind of a mini, which is funny to see. It makes it feel a little bit more handheld, and this is taking a different approach. It's going more so for that kind of gamery look versus kind of whimsical nature of Nintendo, which we've grown to either love or hate. which we've grown to mostly love because if you're a Nintendo fan, then you know what that kind of design language has been. But the last thing I do want to check out will be the actual base and the stand. So this is going to be the stand. Again, you have fan holes everywhere. You have two USB-A ports on the side here for additional accessories. You have the back of it just kind of pops off, which I wish there was a better way to do that with maybe a better opening, but even with the last OLED version of the Switch, that actual case or that dock was still the same. It's kind of annoying to pop off and on. But you have your AC adapter USB-C here, you have an HDMI out, you also have a LAN cable, which is actually something that we didn't have before, so you can hardwire in if you see fit or if you need to, and then of course, you just pop that back in, and now let's see how it actually docks and how well it docks. But that's how you clip it back in, just one little Nintendo branding, you have HDMI down here, and then on the front you do have the Switch 2, and then let's see what this looks like. So there it is docked, and as you can see, it is pretty flimsy right here, which is kind of interesting. Again, for me, that doesn't really matter too much because I'm going to tuck it away inside of my TV console, and that's when I'm going to be using it that way. But that is something to take into consideration, and then to pop these off, you just do one of these, and then what you can do is move this off to the side, grab your Switch kind of console controller holder here, slap these on the same way, and you can see how satisfying that is. And then you have your Switch 2 controller right then and there. So that is all the hardware that came in unboxing, first impressions. Overall, they definitely went with a more pro level design. It's a lot more gamery, it's there to kind of compete with the other big time PC handhelds that look out there. It is losing its whimsical nature by removing a lot of the colors and things like that. But I'm sure Nintendo will have some sort of like OG Switch edition that'll come out eventually. And I do think they're gonna have an OLED panel within the next 2 years on this guy. But overall, for $450, is it worth it? It really depends on how these games run, which we will be testing over the coming days and weeks once we have our final review. But let's finish up this video. If you guys did make it to the end, leave a dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. Let's also leave some questions in the comments down below so I can kind of walk through the good, the bad, the ugly, the what's different, the what's new, what's been improved, and everything in between. And also some games that you guys want to see played on this thing. But that'll do it for this video. If you guys want to watch more content like this, click on one of these right here. Until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace.